supposed to be?
Fine. Suzy! Honestly, first day at school and you're going to be late.
I'm a teacher. Okay, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher.
Mr. McGill, I noticed a couple of broken windows on the ground floor. Punish a pupil, will you?
Which one?
Well, I don't know. Just pick on any boy with an earring. You're a teacher, for God's sake. What do you want?
Mr. Slant's from me at class, sir. Stop talking.
Well, did he give you any work?
No, sir.
No, of course he didn't. Which class?
Religious education.
Fine. Sit there and make a plasticine model of God. And you better get it right.
Excuse me.
Over there.
What did I take out? And I just so much bad language, so much swearing. Where do they get it from, Mr. Carpenter?
Arseheads.
Excuse me, hello?
Mr. Slat, Mrs. Thompson wants a word. Apparently the janitor's wife told her there's a 3-month-old dead rat in the pupil's water tank.
Well, tell her we're very sorry and we'll pop in a fresh one immediately.
Well, she'll be here. She wants to speak to you.
Why couldn't she phone? What did she have to come in for?
I don't know. Perhaps she's thirsty.
Yes, thank you, Janet. Very amusing.
Hello again.
Yes, what? Yes.
I'm sorry.
Name?
Suzy Travis.
Well,
No.
Susan, we generally recommend a somewhat longer skirt than you seem to be wearing at the current moment.
What's wrong with it?
What? Oh, why do we bother? We should just lather you up and throw you to the rugby team. Well, on your way, then. Don't keep your teacher waiting.
I am a teacher.
What?
I'm a teacher.
No, you're not. Mr. Humboldt, a word.
Mr. Slat?
Quick chat in my office, please. It's about you beating Donald Cooper, a fourth year, into a virtual coma during football practice.
Well, what about it?
Do you think you could manage it this afternoon?
Excuse me. I think we were talking, weren't we? I was told to report here. I got a call from the staffing department. This is where I was told to come. You got a problem with that, you take it up with them. Watch that vein in your temple if I were you. I think it's trying to escape.
I'll speak to you in a moment, Mr. Humboldt. We're not due any new teachers. We have the correct teacher allocation for our current school roll. Current school roll, Janet?
809 children.
That's what I thought.
820 counting pregnancies.
Yes, thank you again, Janet. Sorry, mistake, obviously. Staffing department's always getting this kind of thing confused. Bad luck. Wrong.
Can I help you?
I'm looking for the headmaster.
That's me. Step right in.
You're a headmaster.
You're a Scorpio.
What?
Don't ask me how I know. It's funny, isn't it? You can always tell something just by looking a person right in the eye. With me, it's star signs.
With me, it's penis size.
What are you doing here?
Talking to him. He was here a moment ago. Well, he said he was the headmaster. I don't think he really was. That's what he told me. He's probably hiding under the desk.
You know, our Mr. Gregson has some excellent literature on substance abuse. I don't know if you'd be interested at all.
Mr. Slat!
Yes, what?
Mr. Slat. Did you force Mr. Humphrey to take 2 extra classes yesterday after he told you he was feeling dizzy with pains in his arms?
How many phantom illnesses can one incredibly fat hypochondriac have?
Mr. Slat, you make me sick.
This is Janet, our school secretary, whose cunning illusion of humanity is maintained only by extensive shaving.
Mr. Humphrey is sitting up there in his room.
Look, I'll deal with Mr. Humphrey. You explain to this young lady that she doesn't work here and the headmaster is not hiding under his desk.
Mr. Slat! Please, could someone just listen to me for a minute? That guy the headmaster?
Deputy.
Come out. You got nothing to hide. Trust me. Spot on.
Mr. Humphrey, Humphrey, how nice of you to join us for a change. Now, I wonder if it wouldn't be too much trouble to ask you to take a class or two, now that you're actually here. I appreciate that it's a bit of an inconvenience, but it would help the rest of us as we are, in fact, making a valiant attempt to run a school on these premises. Thank you for your valuable time. Right, in you go. Move along now, come on. Come on.
Mr. Slut, I told you that Mr. Humphrey is in no condition to take that class.
And how, pray, as a non-teaching member of staff, do you wear that out?
Because he's dead.
Right. I see. Excuse me one moment.
What is it? So, the last thing Mr. Humphrey did in this life was read a memo from you telling him to stop malingering at once.
Well, he certainly took you seriously.
He was dated yesterday.
He's been sitting there dead for a day.
You think that's bad? He's had at least 2 classes.
That's the most work he's done all year. So, do you teach English at all?
Well,
Oh,
yes.
for God's sake!
Must you constantly intrude on teaching staff conversations, Janet? Why can't you hang around with your own kind and groom each other?
You didn't notice he was dead. Nobody noticed.
Well, he never moved much anyway. He's a teacher.
You just spoke to him.
Well, I can't check the staff for vital signs every time I talk to them. Who knows what we'd find?
Right, well, we have to get him out of there and without the kids seeing.
What now?
Well, he's dead. You can't leave him taking a class.
But yes, I know. But there's no one else available.
That's what you call available.
Listen up. Could you find the headmaster, tell him what's happened?
Well,
I think he's in room 17, just along the corridor.
Oh, right, listen, should it come up? Probably best not to mention this memo business to the head. Might be misconstrued, I'm sure you understand.
You stitch him up all you want, dear.
Look, I know how all this must seem, but I can assure you I consider Mr. Humphrey a highly effective member of staff, right up until the very end. And indeed, a couple of classes beyond it.
Just face it, Slat, you've seriously screwed up this time.
Please excuse Janet's lack of professional decorum. She's been walking outright all morning.
Room 17?
Look, perhaps you'd care to come round for dinner some night, you know, so we can discuss your career, your future at the school, perhaps.
Oh, what? You're asking me on a date now?
No. As a colleague, as your deputy head. And anyway, you've met my wife.
Come on, lover, time to move your latest victim, please.
Right, class, pay attention. I want you all to, I want you to pray. Well, get on with it. Heads down, eyes shut, pray.
Sir, this is English.
Well, it'll be a nice surprise for him, won't it?
Sir, I have a letter from my parents. We don't believe in any form of worship.
Well, just keep it social, then. Well, come on.
He's dead. Mr. Humphrey is dead.
Right! Who prayed for that?
Sorry, it was an accident. Please don't hurt me. Oh, I beg your pardon. I thought you were a pupil.
No, I was trying to work out the room numbering.
Yes, it is quite surprising, isn't it? They took the numbers down during the summer break, so I got the top maths section to put them back up as an exercise. Frankly, I was a bit disappointed.
Yes, I suppose you would be.
Amanda Tripley, music and guidance. I'm always trying to get the kids, you know, involved.
It's room 17 I'm looking for.
Which one?
Sorry?
No room 1, no room 7, 2 room 17s. Kids, eh?
I'm looking for the headmaster. It's sort of urgent.
And then, of course, I got the top science section to help with the rewiring.
What?
Oh, no, not a problem, really, no. It's just that some of the lights don't turn off anymore. Apparently, at night, the windows spell bum. That's the back of the school. Still, anyone can make a mistake.
Quite.
Yes, and I believe between the hours of 8 and 10, they start flashing on and off, and then it sort of goes whizzing round the building on a roller effect. People come for miles.
I can imagine.
And actually, we were blamed for a plane crash once.
I really find the headmaster?
Oh, that room 17, end of the corridor, between room 8 and, room 8. Would you mind helping with the door?
203.
Oh, it's gone up. Anyone who hasn't done their homework, out to the front.
God sees all. Whatever we do, wherever we go, God is there with us, watching over us, guiding us, protecting us. Now, class, pay close attention. I expect you wonder why I'm talking to you from inside this cupboard. Am I right? Well, am I right? You're all very quiet today. Come along, I'm not just talking to myself here. Anyway, the point is this. To the early Christians, God was an unseen presence of unimaginable power, only known by his word, rather like me in this cupboard. You, as my pupils, despite the fact that you can't see me, respect me and even fear me, for you know my word is law. I am in control.
Excuse me?
Who's that?
Suzy Travis, new member of staff. Listen,
I didn't know we were due a new teacher.
I understand the vacancy was rather sudden.
Well, class, you'll have to forgive me while I talk to Miss Travis for a few moments. Will you turn to page 35 in your books?
Listen, about your class.
Ugly-looking bunch, aren't they? Don't worry, they're all family under control, aren't you, class?
They've gone.
I'm sorry?
Your class, they've gone.
Oh,
They were gone when I came in. Sorry.
yes, I see. The door seems to be locked.
Yes,
The key's on the desk. Would you mind?
I'm afraid that's gone too.
Oh. No need for alarm. I'm sure we'll get this situation under control soon.
Oh.
I'm the headmaster, Richard Nixon.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Nixon.
May I wish you a very happy beginning to your teaching career at Galfast High School.
Thank you.
And I would like you to know that if you have any problem here of any kind whatsoever, my door is always open.
Well, actually, there is a little bit of a problem at the moment, which you really ought to know about.
I see. Well, perhaps you'd like to sit down. Do sit down, Miss Travis.
Right, yes.
And I'll take a seat, too. Sorry about the cupboard. Now, I'm a little puzzled about you being a teacher. We haven't actually got a vacancy.
Well, I'm afraid there's some rather bad news about Mr. Humphrey.
Now, look, Mr. Humphrey is a personal friend of mine. I'm perfectly well aware that certain members of the staff want him replaced. Well, I do not.
No, this isn't about that.
I want it understood that I am sick of all this endless plotting.
Look,
This is Slat's doing, isn't it? He's been trying to get rid of Humphrey for years.
I'm afraid the situation is a little more final. Look, just after I arrived, I was talking to Mr. Slat and the secretary, and we discovered that Mr. Humphrey...
We had rather hoped that you might tell the headmaster about Mr. Humphrey rather than one of our cupboards, though naturally I appreciate your thoroughness.
I am telling the headmaster.
No, I think you'll find that's just a drawing.
It's in the cupboard.
Ah, in the cupboard, of course.
Mr. Nixon, tell him.
So, he's not under the desk this time, then.
Mr. Nixon, will you tell Mr. Slat that you're in the cupboard? Mr. Nixon. Mr. Nixon!
Well, there we are, then.
Look, he is just embarrassed. He doesn't want to admit he's in there because of you.
Yes, he's under the desk. He's in the cupboard. Please, I really want no part of your socialist drug culture.
Mr. Slat, I am not on drugs.
Fine, of course. Now, we're having a few problems with the removal of Mr. Humphrey.
That may not have been the best way of phrasing that just at this moment. Some kid's coming.
Oh, God.
Listen, I know how that sounded.
Look, what the hell is going on? What are you planning to do to Mr. Humphrey?
Really, it's not what you think.
In the cupboard. Right. School break in 5 minutes. Then we can move in without bumping into a screaming child on every corner.
They put him in the cupboard.
What are you doing here?
They've all followed us.
Oh, for God's sake.
Look, there's something about the cupboard situation you really ought to know.
Look after this lot, will you?
No, listen.
Later, things to do. Right, you lot, sit down, be quiet. Come on, nothing to worry about. Sit down. Come on, in you come. He's in the cupboard, woman. He's not in the cupboard. Sit.
Someone listen to me for a minute.
Later.
Miss, Mr. Humphrey's in that cupboard, isn't he? And he's dead.
Look, you all just sit there, okay? You'll sit there, and you'll be fine.
Get me out! Get me out, or someone is going to suffer for this! Damn it, there's a dead man in here!
After the doctor, you find out what family we should be contacting.
Sorry, Mrs. Thompson, he'll be with you in a moment. You're remembering about the rat in the water tank, aren't you?
Later.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Sorry about, earlier. Pretending to be the headmaster. Stupid. Well, I'm guessing the size of your star sign. Not the size, I mean, Oh, God.
You just lost 2 inches. I'm looking for the key to a cupboard in room 17. Any ideas?
Bollocks!
Which room 17?
Fifth form are dreadful. They are disgusting, horrid, and very, very naughty.
What happened?
Listen, this is actually quite important.
A lot of extremely insolent staring, fidgeting, and chewing. But I dealt with it, thank you. The rest of you can relax. Fifth form will be presenting no more problems.
What did you do?
I fired them.
You fired your class.
No, I fired all of fifth form. I was just so angry I went through the entire school and fired the lot of them. And I am expecting everybody's support on this.
Mr. Slat, Amanda's just fired the whole 5th form again.
It's all right. They know what to do. We've given them an assembly point round the back. Right, everybody, listen for a moment.
I just get no support from this staff whatsoever.
Dickhead! Miss Travis, this is Mr. Kirkdale. Obviously, you'll be seeing quite a lot of each other.
Why?
He's the head of English. Right, everyone. Spot of sad news. Where's she going?
Oh, excuse me. I'm looking for someone. Well, maybe you should speak to the secretary.
Father-in-law?
Oh, I'm looking for Mr. Humphrey. I'm his neighbour. He didn't come home last night, and I'm a little bit worried. He hasn't been keeping well.
No, quite.
Is he all right?
Well, not absolutely, no. Maybe you should speak to Mr. Slat.
Mr. Slat, it's you.
Look, I know you've been waiting all morning, but I really have more important things to deal with right now than the water supply. For goodness sake, one drowned rodent.
I'm afraid I've got some rather bad news about dear old Mr. Humphrey.
Mr. Nixon? Mr. Nixon, just let me try and explain how this happened. I'm afraid it's a bit complex.
Except this all seems terribly real to you, doesn't it?
Well, it's about to get real for you, too. Mr. Nixon? Mr. Nixon?
Oh, dear.
This is impossible.
Perhaps he turned into a kind of magic mist and escaped under the door. I see. He's flying now, is he? Tell you what, then. We'll put some breadcrumbs on the windowsill, and next time he's swooping by, maybe he'll pop down and nibble a few, then we can grab him.
Just for once, listen. Mr. Slat!
What now?
Yes, what? Yes.
Your secretary said I could talk to you.
What now?
I just don't know how this could have happened.
Honestly, my dead rat in a tank. Just a minute.
Just lying there all that time, dead.
Yes, I know. A small oversight on the part of the cleaning staff.
What?
They're terribly sorry about the whole thing.
Mr. Slat, I want to know how he died.
Well, he drowned.
Drowned?
Well, obviously. Frankly, I'm rather surprised you're quite so interested. Does it matter? I mean, surely the main thing is he's no longer poisoning the pupils' water supply. I mean, I appreciate it was our fault. We should have noticed he was missing from the science department.
Well, why was he in the science department?
Well, I don't know precisely. I imagine they were doing kind of experiments on it.
What kind of place is this?
I'm sorry.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Curious woman. Well, let's get your predecessor out of the way, and then I expect you'll be looking forward to taking your first class.
So, how was the first day?
Kids were fine. Shame about the teachers.
Well, look on the bright side. Every working day, the rest of your teaching career gets shorter.
What does that remind you of?
Oh, really tough to talk to.
Yeah, but worth it in the end.
You reckon?
No, but you do.
Miss Travis, you don't mind if I walk you to your car, do you?
Would it matter if I did?
It is one thing for you to have a series of lunatic fantasies about the whereabouts of the headmaster, but to spread them among the children.
Children?
Well, let's start with the morning, shall we? When one child claims to have seen the headmaster crawling along a ledge on the back wall of the school. Oh, then the lunch hour, when 4 children say they saw the headmaster clinging to a drain pipe on the 4th floor.
He climbed out the window. It was open, remember?
Yeah, during the afternoon break, 2 of the senior prefects insist the headmaster was hanging from a guttering just outside the art rooms.
He climbed out and he couldn't get back in.
Oh, and only 2 minutes ago, a first-year girl tells me she saw Mr. Nixon fall past the geography class window.
Fall?
This nonsense has gone far enough.
Look, have you actually seen Mr. Nixon today?
The fact that I do not see Mr. Nixon in the course of a working day does not usually lead me to conclude that he's outside climbing the school.
But if he's fallen...
He's not fallen anywhere. Look around you. Do you see any sign of plummeting headmaster?
He could be hiding.
And why, pray, would he be doing that?
Because he's been stuck in a cupboard with a corpse, and he's convinced his deputy head is a homicidal maniac. And having spent the day dicing with death as a human fly, it's just possible he may not be at his most rational.
I'm sorry?
That's him. That's who I was talking to. These are some friends of Mr. Humphrey's.
Look, we had a bit of a misunderstanding earlier on. We were talking at cross purposes. But I assure you, I can explain absolutely everything.
Please, don't kill me.
Go on, then.
Right then, settle down, be quiet. As some of you may know, Mr. Humphrey of the English department has died, which is, of course, terribly sad. I'm confident, however, that our school will struggle on past this tragic incident as if absolutely nothing had happened of any consequence whatsoever and forget about the whole thing. I know that Belfast High will carry on down the fast track to academic excellence exactly as it did before and exactly as Mr. Humphrey would have wanted. Perhaps we might even go that little bit faster with one less on board. In fact, quite honestly, to look on the bright side of this whole sorry occasion, if I'd had to choose a member of staff to die, I'd have chosen Mr. Humphrey. Not, of course, that I've given the matter any thought. I mean, I don't have any kind of death list. That's just all a lot of silly talk based on what was, after all, a confidential memo. Anyway, on a personal note, I've had a lot of people over the last couple of days complaining that Mr. Humphrey was nothing but a hopelessly incompetent, incredibly fat, malingering old duffer. Well, what I say to these people is, he's been well punished for it. Not that his death was any form of official punishment, I can assure you of that. I didn't kill Mr. Humphrey. That's no part of my duties here. No. If anyone punished him for the generally low standard of his work, it was our Lord. Although, obviously, I'm not suggesting that God is stalking the corridors of Belfast High, killing inefficient teachers. Though perhaps if I was in the art department, I wouldn't be so confident. I'll say no more. Anyway, Mr. Humphrey will be buried on the 15th.
Cremated.
What, all of him? We'll be there all day.